Ah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good
Nevertheless,
morning.
here with Natalie and the lovely Howard Chance. Howdy,
Hello.
Howard.
Hello.
Hi,
How are
Howard.
Hi.
you?
Nice to see
Um,
your shining face this morning.
Yay.
well, I have an excuse for my dimly lighted studio here. It's always like that.
Oh.
Yeah,
You've got the mood lighting going on there.
yeah. I mean, I was trying to get everything set up as we were talking about earlier. I'm just taking a
Yeah.
minute to try to get everything right. Just give me a minute before this. And I've known, we were going to have this interview for like days. You know,
Oh,
and it's
yeah.
like, and I'm trying to get everything, just kind of, just take a moment before we start everything. And then the more I tried to get, anything done, the just more stuff started piling on. And it all had to do with time and all had
Yeah,
to do
isn't it
with
ironic?
it was so ironic because I wanted so badly just to take a moment, and just kind of relax and get in the
Chill.
groove as we like to say. And
Yeah.
and it just turned out that it was just like a comedy of errors avalanching. Yeah. And the more I tried to, like,
Yes.
yeah, it just everything just piled on top of each other. And
Oh,
I
my
ended up giving up and laughing about it. And I guess is what is,
God.
I'm so glad to be here and to be with you guys. And really, I've been watching your links. I mean, you guys are great. And this is fun. And
It's
I'm
fun.
just really happy to be a part of it. I'm happy to.
Oh. And we've
Oh.
been watching you all over the place,
Oh,
Howard. You're
yeah.
on Walter. You're a permanent fixture to Walter's channel.
So
And
cool. That's
um,
cool.
you're being interviewed left and right. It's so beautiful seeing your expression and this blossoming of Howard all over the place.
Well,
And
I have to admit, it's all part of my big plan.
Yeah. Trying to take over
oh,
the world.
It's all part of
yeah,
my scheming.
take over the world.
Yeah, there's
Keep you in the
actually,
brain.
yeah, it's kind of funny. Um, it's just funny how all this stuff works out. It's just, I cannot get over,
Yeah. Oh,
just the
yes.
serendipitous kind of things that happen and all of these things that tie in with the duality of it. And all the way to this moment too. It's so funny because I'm like, it's all a part of my scheming, and then that's not all together untrue. In that,
Right. Yeah.
like I
Yep.
remember this thing that happened that made this other thing happen that brought me to this moment, and like being interviewed or like even being in this situation. For you guys to even say to me, that like, oh man, I've been seeing you everywhere. I mean, even it's quaint. It's just a funny little remark, but it's
Yeah,
funny
yeah.
in that I remember looking at the links. I remember looking at people on the links, and I'm
Mm.
going, I wait a minute, wait a minute. No, it's not the way. I don't see it that way. Yeah, that's not the way it is, and that's not the way it is for me. I don't know about, and I just thought, wait, and I was excluded from the the Happy Reindeer games, and nobody
Yeah.
really wanted
Yeah.
to talk to me. And I just said, you know what, hell with this, man.
Yeah.
And I just started talking to people that I know.
Mm. Mm.
I just started like
Mm-hmm.
making links
Mm-hmm.
with people that I
Mm-hmm.
know, and instead of
Yeah.
like looking for people, to talk to and
Yes.
ask questions with. I just
Howard,
started
isn't
talking
it
to
the
people that I
funny?
know and just putting them
It's
on the
the
links.
funny thing
And
about
then,
there aren't any others that it's like, what the hell am I listening to
why do
anyway?
I
I don't
need you
even know.
to validate
I don't.
whether or not what
No
I'm
one
seeing is
could know
okay?
this.
No, that's
Yeah.
really,
And
no.
then you just like screw it and just
Right. And
talk
that was the
however you
weirdest thing.
want.
People are like, I like the way you're just like interviewing like regular people,
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, every one of them is so unique. If you look at it, like, I mean,
Mm.
every
Mhm.
person you talk to is so completely different and unique. And that was one of the things that like kind of was blowing my mind about what I was hearing on, non-duality stuff. I was like, wait a minute, nothing is special, and you are not unique, and you're not special, Howard. I'm like, well, wait a minute, wait a minute. I understand what you mean in one respect, but in another respect, it's if I'm not comparable to anything else, regardless of I'm what your definition of reality is, or existence.
Mhm.
And if I'm not
Right.
comparable to anything, and I'm just just appearing out of nothing and nowhere, even as something that doesn't exist, but as seen, an environment that likewise is completely oblivious to separation or non-duality or duality or any of that stuff. And this is just happening out of nothing and nowhere. How the fuck is that not special? How the fuck is that not special?
Yeah.
That's not unique.
But the
I mean, what the
ordinariness
hell are
of
you
it,
talking?
the ordinariness of it, though, is
The
mind-blowingly
ordinary
special,
that nothing
extravagant.
that this moment, that the rules of space and time indicate that this moment will not, never, it cannot be duplicated.
No.
And however, it it cannot be duplicated, even in separation. But as in non-duality, is also saying that it just comes out of nothing and nowhere, and because it's not, comparable in either respect of duality or non-duality. In that, in duality, in some circles are saying there's nothing else, and I don't.
No one knows that.
That
I
just
mean,
has
who
so
could
many
know
meanings
that?
to it. It's funny,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
the infinity and not or the finite, I believe, are the same thing. The infinite and like infinity is now. There's that's real. That's exactly what it is. I mean, we are here infinitely in this moment, and also just passing through, and it cannot be any other way. And that's the funniest thing about it, is that it's both happening and not happening,
Yeah.
and
Like simultaneously.
it can't be any other way. And then at the same time, it's nothing at all. Yeah,
Right. It's all empty. Just the empty
right.
words. Like
Well,
we're not, what are we getting to the bottom of? And that's the thing. It's almost like it's just a fun little way of, some people are really into football and that's all they talk about. For some reason, we're all kind of just talking about this. Like it's,
Yeah.
like it's not gonna lead anywhere. It's empty, but my God, the fullness in it of just being able to, who even knows, interact, be on a screen with someone somewhere else. Like, what is that? It's just so magical when you just are, when there's this just, wow, what is all this? And how beautiful that it just arises, like that there's no need to even know or get to the bottom of it, yet that appears that there's this innate wanting to like be able to express what this is, and even that expression is this, you know
right.
so I don't know, it's just
Well,
like,
to me, it's a collaboration.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the most finite, obvious, reality to someone.
Yeah.
Is infinitely unknowable and simultaneously. If you were just start asking them questions about what they thought was obvious, they would know immediately. It doesn't take long.
Oh
In
yeah.
most cases, for
Yeah.
people to realize that the most obvious appearance is infinitely unknowable, and you cannot know anything at all. And the most beautiful thing about that being that, the funniest thing is that this duality and non-duality work together, in that as soon as you realize uh, the most parochial kind of non-duality, which would be separation is not separate. So, well, how is that? Okay. Well, separation is not separate because X, Y, and Z. Okay, quantum physics or blah 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 blah, blah whatever. The universe
Yeah,
tells you
whatever.
everything. Yeah, the universe is
Some sort of
whatever.
story. We'll just give it a
Yeah,
story.
yeah. The universe is telling you that everything's connected or whatever.
Yeah.
And then which is fine, and that's good. But
Sure.
in its own right is infinite. You can spend your entire everything there, and it's beautiful. Whatever.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with anything I'm saying, or you know,
Not at
I'm
all.
saying that there are levels to what you can see, and you always end up back where you are. However, never quite the same. You know, you can never be,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, there's
exactly
never
as you are
set
twice.
way.
You know,
Yeah.
so you're
Exactly.
constantly changing, but
Oh,
always remaining the same. But
immovable. Yeah.
yeah, it's immovable as perpetual motion,
Yes.
and that
Yeah.
like an infinite amount of veils will drop, and every one of them will appear to be the one way to think
Yes.
things are, and but none of it. But you can't validate any of it. Another veil will drop, like, oh no, this is it.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then
Yes.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wait. No, that wasn't it. Okay, wait.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It's just
but
like
it
and
seems
like
like it's not.
I deal with people like all the time from different perspectives
Yeah.
that all say, well, the absolute truth is X, Y, and Z. You know, the truth is not something that can be known, it's just revealed. And, you know, this is what it's revealed as. And, you know, you have all these different Hindu or radical non-duality or, you know, anything else you want to say. You know, right now I have a fairly good rendition about what appears to
And
be
the cool thing is these renditions are empty because think about it, Howard. Then
Yeah.
there'll be another rendition and another rendition because it's out of control. There isn't a controller of which rendition is going to come up. You know what I mean? And then it's out with the old, in with the new, always like bam, bam, bam.
Well,
you know,
that's not altogether accurate though.
no,
Because
okay. I don't know if anything could
well,
be.
no.
But
Okay, let's play with that idea.
yes, let's do it. I'm up
There's
for
no
it.
control. There's no one controlling anything, right?
I didn't. I mean, I don't even know what that would mean at this point. Like a controller,
Well, you're saying there's no controller, right?
or not a controller. There's no controller, or no controller. There's just
Exactly. That's
whatever
ultimately what
seems to be happening. Yes, yeah. You can't say one without the other. I mean, that's just
exactly
silliness.
right.
That's silliness. Come on now.
Yeah. So there
Yeah.
you go. So there you go. There's your 360.
Right.
So
Exactly.
you have
No one moved. Nothing happened.
and nothing happened, right?
Yeah.
However,
And everything happened.
within that parameter of conversation,
Yes.
or with that parameter of having this conversation, we are appearing to communicate, appearing to exchange intellects.
Yeah.
We seem to have autonomy, and we are able to make our decisions. What we're going to say, what we're not going to say, what we're going to try to, all of these things. Now, there is nothing preventing what appears to appear as an appearance that can make their own decision. There's nothing stopping that from happening. To say that there is no controller solely, as non-duality would say, or as many in non-duality would say, it's already done.
Yeah.
Okay. It's already done. However, this is not time and space. So what seems like a linear chain of events in time is not really actually that. It's also timeless. You are infinitely in this moment. So what appears like what you can't know is not separate, or what you can't see is not separate from what you do see. So, and this is what I mean. The most parochial understandings of non-duality immediately say, well, there's nothing separate. What you don't understand is a block. There's nothing there, right? So this is it. Okay. So then all of a sudden there's an infinity that says, well, wait a minute. Okay. Just, I'm not a thing that can be separate from what, that would say that I'm, the extent of my understanding is the extent of what appears. And that would be to limit what appears. And then nothing would ever happen, right? Or nothing would ever even appear to happen. Because if the limit of my understanding is what appears, then nothing that I don't understand would happen. And so how can you not? So there's something other than what I understand making what appears. And so if there's something that I don't understand that makes what appears, then what I don't understand actually does appear in some capacity. And so what this is it within my understanding? It's beyond understanding because you're not
No,
in space and
definitely.
time.
Yeah.
You're not in space and time. And so this can't be it. It can't be. And so you go, well, wait a minute. If I don't understand what appears to be happening, and yet it is happening, okay, and that's just the natural order of it, well, then what is the limit beyond understanding? And there is none.
No.
And so,
No.
so limit and limitlessness are they must be together. So you think in terms of limit as duality. I am born, I am living, I will die. I have a memory, and these are true facts about my life. I have made decisions that got me to this point in time and space with my friends here today. And we all are here in a point, sharing our intellects. And however, all of us can't verify the other. None of us
No.
appear. I can't know that you are actually conscious or that we actually are in space and time. However, we
No.
are sharing an approximation of an area, contemplating non-duality. And yet the funniest thing is that we appear to be exchanging. So I can't know that, but at the same time, because I can't know it is different from I know that it's not this way. Okay. Whereas radical non-duality would say it's like this. Nobody's here. Okay. That's not necessarily so because we are here saying that we're not here. Okay.
Yeah.
And, what here is completely unknowable.
We don't know what hair is, but something
Nah.
seems to be happening.
So just because we're appearances and without foundation, in
Right.
fact, because we are just appearances,
It's irrelevant, isn't it?
we are both relevant and irrelevant because we are the
Yes.
only thing that
Right.
appears, and the appearance is relative to nothing. However, we can't know that.
No.
And so
Yeah.
we are everything relative to nothing, and at the same time, nothing because we're not relative to something. And because that dances back and forth, we appear to be both dual and non-dual. And so
Yes.
simultaneously, everything and nothing. However,
Right.
because of the subjective nature of that, something is not necessarily something. And so nothing cannot be the negation of something. Then there is no something or its negation. There is no something or nothing. And then you have, okay, wait a minute. There's a lack of dimension. So there's no dimension or dimensions negation. And then you say, well, wait a minute. Okay, so there's not something or nothing.
Right.
And then not even nothing, not even the
Not even
negation of
nothing.
dimension.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you're like, okay. And yet, so what difference does it make if I think I am something or nothing within the initial veil
Yes.
dropping?
Yeah.
And you're like,
Mm.
well, it doesn't matter because
Yeah, the whole thing. At the end, it's like,
and then
oh
you
my
find
God, what
yourself
is
back
going on?
again, and
Yes.
you're like, okay.
And you're laughing. You're like,
Mhm.
what the hell was that?
And that's the difference between, I think, in many cases, listening to people like hearing people talk
Yeah.
about the ordinariness of it,
Yeah.
may grasp that what they experience is ordinary, okay, but may not have grasped that there is no ordinary, and may not have
what do
been
you think
able
they
to.
mean by ordinary? What
Well,
I
I
mean,
think what they mean by ordinary is that they have grasped that um, there is no separation between what appear to be objects and what appears to be, in many respects, I think people have a misunderstanding, of course,
yeah, but
of
yeah, of course.
yeah, I mean, of um, subject and its negation, or subject and object. Um, people will say, well, it's just the appearance. Yes, however, the appearance is not the appearance without you making a choice, or you doing or not doing, or contemplating that. So it gets to be an infinite regress in
That's
that.
what I want. What is this infinite regress? What is this?
Well, infinite regress has to do with an untenable situation regarding your position in a debate, say, or an argument,
Mm,
or
okay.
a point being made.
Mm-hmm.
Consciousness is an infinite regress. You cannot say that consciousness derives physicality.
Yeah, I
Its
wouldn't
physicality
know what that means.
evolves consciousness. So
Okay.
that's an infinite regress. If consciousness exists prior to physicality, okay, um, and this is all just a
Story.
manifestation of
Yeah.
what appears to
Right.
be a consciousness. You
Okay.
cannot know if consciousness has a source, like
No.
because the reality is that the physical brain would post date consciousness. So consciousness created the brain. The brain didn't create consciousness. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's so right there you go, okay, I can't know if consciousness created the brain, or if the brain was evolved through space and time, creating consciousness, and it's just a manifestation of physicality. So you can't know if physicality predates consciousness, or is post dated by consciousness. Therefore, you cannot know that there needs to be a source for what appears. What appears, if it's
Mm,
not
mm.
consciousness, or it just appears as the mind, as thought, as the manifestation of the consequence of a thing that is manifested in the universe. See, so that would be what most people think is non-duality. There's a brain that has manifested
Right.
itself, or it has been manifested by whatever. A lot of people say God.
Yeah.
A lot of people say science,
Well, they're just
metaphysics.
stories. Why does it even matter?
And either say no, but that is the initial manifestation would be a story about either science, metaphysical,
Mm-hmm.
God, and then you go beyond God or not God, and then in that it is irrelevant and neither. And
And
it
both.
really
And
it has nothing to do with any of that whatsoever. And then you get into okay, so I can't know that it's either that it's consciousness is validatable. Okay, so consciousness as it appears is a physical manifestation of the process of physicality, the nervous system, the brain, signals that are received from nervous system to the brain. So, like, if I can't realize that signal, or if I can't objectively um, verify that signal that goes through the tip of my fingers at touch to my brain, and then is given to me as Howard's identity is feeling this box, is grabbing this bottle, whatever, smell, taste, all of it. Okay, if I cannot know that signal, if I cannot verify that signal to be actual, then the necessity of a nervous system and a body in space and time that is receiving a signal from the tip of my finger going through my nervous system to my brain, where it is processed and then given to me in colors and smells and tastes and pain or pleasure. Okay. So my body is telling me, my brain is telling me that my body is telling me that I'm in a position, in a dimension relative to other things that make me feel good or bad. Okay. However, because I don't know that my brain actually exists in physicality, or if consciousness predates physicality and just manifests that idea of a brain in a with a body and in a position in a dimension of space and time. If I can't know that, then non-duality at that point is something that doesn't have anything to do with nature. It has nothing to do with essence or force or cause or effect or me or you or any sense or reason or meaning or logic or purpose or anything like that. All books, everything you've ever known is completely useless. You have no idea whether or not there's a there is a brain that is in a jar receiving signal pulses from like a god or deity or some scientist, creating the illusion that you actually exist, or if you're a simulation, or if you're a or quantum, fluctuation. And it means nothing. All of it. If you cannot verify the signals that you're receiving from your nervous system to your brain, and because your brain is self-referential in the story of duality, you have a brain. What is telling you that? Your brain is telling you that.
Yes.
Well, how can you cross-reference that? You can't.
Right.
And so,
not gonna happen.
And in science, so now you have religion saying God is doing this, and science saying, well, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. It's not God, it's a science. Well, if science is the search for truth, then validate your consciousness. Validate what appears to be happening right now. Tell me how you can validate the signals that you receive at the end of your fingers. You can't.
Yeah, you can come up with a story of it.
You can come up with a story.
There's not
It's
a
your brain.
knowing of any of it. It's all useless. I mean,
all a story.
It's like this. It's like, okay, so, I just want to say, like, all of the stories, science, religion, non-duality, duality, all of it is just a story of who knows where these stories are coming from. Who knows what's going on with any of it. It just comes out and flows. Like, I don't know anything about a brain. Someone asks me a question and there's usually going to be a response because I like to talk a lot, So it's like at a certain point, it's like, well, who gives a shit about the story? So one person could be radical as hell and say, hey, there's no one there, there's no one doing it. This person could be saying it's all oneness, blah, blah. Yeah. And it's like, it's all equally just as valid or invalid. It doesn't need to be validated.
No different.
It's just happening. Here we go. Two stories. This one's this way, that way. I don't know anything about any others because I could never know what another appearance is like. I don't even, like you said, there's no way to validate or invalidate that other appearance. I could think there could be thoughts that, ooh, they're just like me, another human being. Hey, stop. My dog's trying to eat all the treats. Hey, there's another human being. They must be exactly like me. Well, that thought they must be exactly like me, or maybe there'd be a thought that they're nothing like me. Either way, what does it matter? That's where you're just like, who cares? It's just flowing naturally anyway. I mean, trying to what do you call it? Mask or detach from something is just doing that. It's just detachment. There's no one doing that anywhere. There's no one. It's not like someone or no one is doing it. It's just this detachment of, ooh, there's nobody here and it's all just happening. Or I could say there's somebody here and nothing's happening.
I'll
I
tell
mean,
you
do you
what.
see that?
Oh
You
yeah.
just get to the
So
point where it's like,
one of
who
the most
gives a
beautiful
shit?
things, right? And one of the most beautiful things that a friend like, um, I've had a beautiful life. I mean, I just
Oh,
have
the
had the most
stories
amazing.
I've heard you tell,
Oh my
they're
God.
amazing. Yeah, I love it.
It's
So
ridiculous.
colorful and juicy. I know.
It's
Same, Howard,
ridiculous.
same.
I
It is
cannot.
ridiculous. You cannot make this stuff up. Like,
Well,
seriously.
yeah, yeah. It's impossible to
I know.
and I just had somebody I just had somebody down me or
Yeah.
they I don't know how to say what I want to say. Um
Just say it.
okay.
Belt it out.
All right. Um
Mm.
I have a friend that
Okay.
just out of nowhere. Um Jeez, man.
Oh,
I have a friend out of nowhere
beautiful.
that really helped me see something that I've had a few friends, I guess now
Mhm.
that helped me see some things that I have not been able to see um, uh, before. It's just the weirdest thing, man. It's so strange. You we're talking about like what matters, and I'm like, right when you're saying that is, a buddy of mine calls up and he's like, saying the exact thing, that he's basically surpassing what I was hoping for, and that matters to me. It really does because he's kind of one of these guys that he's like right away was like, man, I cannot believe, I came across your work, and I was like, um, how do you mean, it is. I'm trying not to sound like an asshole. I'm trying not to sound like hokey, but at the same time, the hokiest thing just happened. It is so funny. But I'm just gonna say it. My buddy just called and he's like, "Look, man, I fucking love you. I can't believe this. What I wrote him something. Um, he's just such a good friend to me. And the coolest thing about it is uh, I used to run from this shit, man. I used to run hard.
Mhm.
In any kind of situation would happen where um, you start getting close to people, and I would run from it because I just didn't. I don't know why. I didn't want to screw
Fear.
anybody up. I didn't want
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hurt anybody. You know what I mean? And so if people start hanging around, I was like, dude, I'm out, man. I wouldn't even say anything. I would just fucking leave. And I think I bailed on a lot of people. And I wanted to be able to do whatever I wanted to do, and I wanted them to know that they should be able to do the same, and not to listen to me. Don't listen to me or anybody
Yeah.
else. You know, don't listen to. You live your own life, and don't allow somebody else to tell you what is or is not. Don't allow somebody else to negate your spirit or to tell you this is it and there's nowhere else to look. How the fuck can you tell me? How the fuck
Mhm.
can you tell me? How do you know? Because
Right.
you don't know. You
Oh,
can't know
no.
what I am going through. That is the nature of
No.
separation. We are separate in that we are basically diamonds, diamonds of emotion without a position, without a body. It's like the the refraction without a prism. You know what I'm saying? The light
Yeah.
of a reflection without the origin of it. And you can't know that about me. You can't know what I'm experiencing. You know, that's just ridiculous. You could say that I'm without foundation, and I can agree with you. But as an
Right.
appearance, I still appear. You know, what difference does it make?
Right.
Under what
Right.
if do it either if
Yes.
I'm dualistic or not is
Yeah.
irrelevant
It
to that
doesn't.
fact.
Right.
It's irrelevant whether I'm dualistic or non-dualist or non-dualistic because both are foundationless. Neither one can be
Yeah.
um, validated or authenticated,
Yeah. No.
or verified or anything. Test it. You can't even test it, let alone uh, make some kind of grandiose claim that
Mm.
this is it.
Or go
And
ahead, make a grandiose,
yeah,
make
or
a claim. Who
yeah.
gives a
I
crap?
understand that
It's
the way you're looking at it is a piece of dog shit, and the smell of dog shit is the way
yes.
you like is what it is for you. Okay, great. You know, but to say that that is the totality of experience, uh, experience my experience, or whatever, getting into the language of beating each other up for using personal pronouns and how we express ourselves, rather than recognizing that
It's
what we
just
are is
silliness.
simply that appearance of an expression that expresses itself. Or to get into the subtle nuances of what's trying to be, conveyed, because what's happening is not even communication. It's not an appearance in that I am a subject looking at an object. I'm an individual looking at an environment and navigating that. No,
Oh,
that's not what's
yeah.
happening.
No.
It
That's like, oh, I'm the
it
most
could be,
important
but
thing. I'm doing all of this and seeing all of this and creating it all. Well,
right.
who
So
even
now,
would know
we
that?
come full, and then so now we come full circle. I am the creator.
Yes.
So now there, instead
Yes.
of no creator, I am the
Now
creator.
I am the
I
creator.
am all
Yes.
creation. But
And it's
neither one matters because it's not creation.
no. Right. We
It's
don't
not even
creation of
created.
what? There is no creation.
Yeah,
I
there is
mean,
no
what would that
creator.
mean?
So
There's no
yeah,
creator.
so nobody doing something is irrelevant to that understanding.
Yeah.
There's no creation and no creator, and
Right.
what appears to be me has no definition or description and cannot be me because that would limit what it means to be completely free of that
Yes.
of any kind of description, along with
Right. This
duality
doesn't
or
care about the
non-duality.
descriptions. We can call this everything that's appearing, whatever
Dog
we
shit,
want, whatever comes
whatever.
up, dog
Yeah,
shit, bubble
yeah,
gum, you know,
yeah.
it doesn't, the descriptions are it as well. So nothing is objectifiable, there isn't a separate entity that's able to get outside of what this is to know what's going on. And here's the beauty, it isn't needed.
Right,
It isn't needed. Nothing is needed,
right.
for this to be as it is.
No,
Maybe thinking I want it to be different. That
yeah,
that's not, that's just thinking, that's just the thought. I want it to be different. So
yeah,
what? Does it change it? Does it?
right,
Nothing changes, but
right.
it's
But
ever changing. It's ever
it
changing.
and it's ever changing, right? And so,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of it. In that,
It's so
yes.
free
So
as
now you
hell.
get to, so then you get to that precipice, and you recognize that motion isn't moving.
Right.
There's no motion as motion, and you're like, wait a minute.
There's the moments are momentless. I mean, it's just like
Yeah, and it's
yeah.
like, wait,
Oh,
and
wait.
wait, and the next thing you know, you expand what it means to understand something, or you
Mm.
expand what it means to see, or and you expand what me means, expand and negate it simultaneously. It doesn't mean the same thing. And so, you're in this, you start speaking gibberish, literally
Yes.
gibberish, and it's
We are
like,
chirping like
yeah,
birds
I
out
mean, so,
here.
you're just chirping in a tree,
Yeah.
and it's just
Mm.
literally,
Oh.
it goes beyond,
Mm.
it goes beyond anything, uh, you know, But I must say, infinity is now means that even what I can't understand or what I don't see is happening. So what I can't understand or what I don't see is happening means that just even beyond not even nothing is just simply what I just as a dimensional appearance cannot understand, which means that this is everything. However, everything and nothing are both, again, subjective understandings about something that
of course.
inconsequential.
Every single
So
word, every
yeah,
appearance.
so this being all there is completely bullshit. Because yeah, that's true, but everything and nothing is also not
Right.
even nothing, and it doesn't even matter. And all of that is just one aspect of how to appear in
Okay.
a
So what about
situation.
this? So I don't know, this just came up. So this is all there is, but thoughts of elsewhere, thoughts of another place or time or a past or a future are also all there is. So nothing is excluded. It's
Right.
all
Right.
included.
Even
And
even the
not.
negation of even the negation of saying that there is something beyond something and nothing is
Right.
also something that is
It's just,
nothing, and
it's
it
just
just
saying
never
that.
ends.
It doesn't, it's just saying that. It's not, it can't be validated. It doesn't need to be
No, 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 no,
validated,
no. It's not just saying that. It is actually that. No, 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 no,
What,
no,
what,
no.
what, what?
It
What'd I
is. It
say?
is.
Whoa. It is what?
But it is, and it isn't. See,
Okay.
the entire reason why it flows is because it cannot be. It's just you're just thinking that. No, it can't be. You're just thinking that. It has to
I don't,
be actual, in that what you cannot think actually is. So the reality, the what is happening is that, yeah, you're just thinking
wait.
that, but you don't exist, and that's just an appearance. However, the appearance of you thinking or not thinking has to be free to be that way. Otherwise, again, you become
Well, it
defined.
couldn't be not free though. You know what I mean? It
Well, no,
couldn't
no, no, no,
not
no,
be
no.
free.
It has to
Could it
be
be
free
free?
enough. No, no, no. It has to
Okay.
be free enough to be confined. It has to
Okay.
be free enough to confine itself if it wants
Okay.
to. So, because
Yeah.
if it doesn't,
Okay.
then
Yes. Yes.
you
Oh,
have
I see. Okay. I see what
because
you're
then
saying.
you have to say that
Okay.
it is
Come on.
that it is one way or the other, and it's not.
Right.
It cannot
It's
be free
not.
or
Yeah.
confined. It is merely the appearance of freedom,
Freedom
so
or,
free that it can confine itself if it wants
yeah.
to, and that's you feeling confined. That's you feeling as if you are um, um, stuck, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
Whereas what it is it's actually so free that it can appear confined, because if it was actually confined, then you could say it's one thing or another, but it's beyond opposites, and it's beyond it's not on or off. It's not just this and nothing else. It's this and nothing else.
And
It's what
yeah.
you can't know. And so it is only
But
this.
if you
There's
can't know
just
it, will you
one.
ever know it?
No, you can't ever know it.
You
However,
can never
this is
know it.
where this
It's
is where
unknowable.
yes. However, this is where knowledge ceases to matter. Okay.
Okay.
Here we have this conglomeration of ideas that is coming to this precipice of understanding.
Yes.
Precipice of understanding is that knowledge doesn't exist. Okay. So how did we get here? Now, here's the thing. People will say, well, there's an enlightenment experience. An enlightenment experience
Oh, yeah.
takes.
Oh, Howard. We've
Oh,
lost Howard.
we just lost Howard. Oh,
There he is.
there he
Okay.
is.
He's
Oh,
back. Oh.
off. Little intermission here.
Yes. The Enlightenment story. This is a good one. Oh no.
Howard.
We have a technical
Little
difficulty.
technicality here. Howard. I'm using my psychic powers to tune into Howard and get him back on
Yes,
here.
yes.
We need to elevate our vibration, Natalie.
Oh, yes, I know. Raise the vibes. How could we do that? Maybe jump up and down. Yeah, I do love talking to Howard. And
Yeah.
sometimes, you know, his expression is so like beyond the scope of comprehension here, talking about knowledge and not
Mhm.
knowledge, that just sometimes there's just like getting lost in the words and just thinking
Yeah.
how beautiful it sounds and watching the movement of the face and the expressions and the laughter, just all of it just spontaneously, just like so bam, just beautiful.
Yeah. I love when
Yeah.
you say that. And like, it's interesting because just when I really like saying this is it, just this.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
know it seems that
Yeah.
Howard has an aversion to it.
It's
But
just a difference of what the
diff
way it's heard, you know, that's
different way of
all.
expressing, because when you say this, to me, this encompasses everything, every
Right.
possibility, everything
And even
like
nothing, it encompasses nothing,
nothing,
which
it
isn't even
encompasses
knowable.
nothing too. It's
Yeah.
just a simplistic way of, this.
Yes,
Because the
just
more we
as
start
it is.
layering on top of that, then it becomes, this story playing out of trying to,
Right. And
yeah,
you know, describing any description of what this is just that, a description, you know.
right.
And like we were saying earlier, Howard and I, there isn't an end point or a beginning point where we could say, okay, now we've nailed it down, this is what it is, and
Yeah,
here are definitions of what this is. Well,
right.
definitions are definitions, and for every appearance, a word, a definition is going to mean something different. Things are heard how they're heard, you know.
Totally.
And so that's just the beauty and the freedom of not not being able to uh not having a choice in how something is heard. Someone can say something over and over and over, and
Right.
it's like
Yeah.
it's not heard until it's heard, and then at
Yeah,
that
yeah,
point
yeah.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
But
you're
I
back,
love,
Howard.
yeah, but I
Okay,
love what
good.
Howard just said about like it's so free that it can be
Yes,
constricted,
it
and it can
constricts
be,
the, yes,
um us trying to
feeling
figure it
caged
out
and
and
boxed and
or yeah, it
yes.
just shows up any which way. It's so free that it doesn't give a flying F if it shows up
Right.
as struggle, pain, constriction, war,
Yes,
suffering, all that,
yes,
because it's just so free to be in any expression, and
right.
for no knowing why. And that's just mind blowing. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes. Yay. Okay,
Oh,
Howard,
Howard
you're
speaking,
on
but
mute.
I can't hear you.
Mm.
Can you turn your volume? Can't hear you, Howard.
Oh, there. Now it's unmuted. Oh, he
Oh,
got out. I
no.
bet he's going to come back in.
Okay. Technical
Yeah.
difficulties, but
Yeah, that is the freedom that, you know, there's just there can be, and it's just a suggestion that there's no one, you know, and that doesn't actually mean anything. You know what I mean? It doesn't change anything. And I think that that freedom of just however it seems to appear is just how it is. You know, there isn't
Mhm.
a way to get to the bottom of anything. All of it's a story, and that's all
Yeah,
there is.
yeah,
Stories. I
yeah.
mean, what could be wrong with those? Why not? You know, it's just
I'm
what
so
seems to
sorry, you
happen.
guys.
Oh,
That's
there he is.
okay.
It's
Glad
I'm
to have
so
okay.
you back.
sorry.
You
Yeah.
know, this
Okay.
kind of stuff happens all the time.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
Yeah.
And I just had yes, what would the you guys what you're talking about is right. It's um yeah, that's unconditional love. The idea that yeah, it's so free that it appears it appears to be able to inhibit itself is kind of, it has to be that way. However, yeah, when I, you know what, I was just listening to you guys, and I started talking, and and then I had to leave the meeting, and now I'm just
Yes.
really grateful that yeah, what you
Yeah.
guys are saying is
I'm
right and true and good, and yeah, and I just really think it's amazing that yeah, it's not it's beyond opposites. It's
yeah.
that's the thing. It's not what we were talking about, either on or off or true or bad, if it or
Right.
it's beyond opposites. And so it's not being or not being. It's not like you or not you. Um, it literally is unconditional in that love is unconditional. You can absolutely despise, who you love at some point, and but it doesn't stop you from loving them. You despise them because you love them. Yeah,
Yes.
and like I
If you
despise
didn't
you
love
because I
him, you
care.
wouldn't care.
Yeah, yeah. Difference is the
You'd be like,
antithesis of love.
bye.
Yeah. That's the antithesis of love.
Yeah.
Is not giving a shit.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is a couple of things. One thing about being um for no reason. I'm not necessarily see it is within the narration of its appearance, duality and non-duality, that one overcomes the other. It's like they just they walk in step. You, not you. It has to be together. Um,
Yeah.
doing, not doing, being, not
Yeah.
being. They're
Yeah.
not mutually exclusive, right?
No.
Yeah.
So, what I'm getting at here is the thing about purpose. The beautiful thing about like why, why is this happening? It is within the narration of duality and non-duality that it strives to have a purpose. However,
Yeah.
neither duality or non-duality have that inherent nature to them because you can't know it. It just appears, you know, wow, what does it mean? And you're like, well, whether you believe in duality or non-duality, that is completely up to you. And it's just that you don't have, um, that, a definable foundation. And so, what happens is that you feel this pain, and you're like, what unconditional love? Why do I feel this pain? Why do I feel lonely? Why is everything fucked up? Why is everything so wrong if nothing can be wrong? You know,
Yeah.
and
Because there's a definition of what right and wrong is. And when there's that definition of what feels good is right and what feels bad is wrong, then that's the end game right there, for the
right,
individual.
the
Yeah.
desire of the
Yeah.
individual dictates what's right or wrong.
Right.
Right?
It's just like
So,
saying this is perfect, but
right.
obviously we could see flaws or whatever, or we could want it a different color, but it's perfect as it is, not perfect as in the attributes or the way I like it. It's just perfection because
well,
nothing's missing, nothing's needed.
perfection
Even if
has no,
something feels like it's needed, it's still perfection appearing
yes,
as needing something.
right, it's perfect, yes. And so what it is for me,
Mm-hmm.
the ability to and this is what I saw. I mean, this is something that I saw that
Yeah.
I was it, it, I was able to feel what it was like not to have sensation. Okay,
Yeah.
to not feel anything, and immediately I was like, well, wait a minute, I, I was like, I don't know, I kind of wanted it back, and it's like, well, do you feel
Yeah.
that? You know, you are you without sensation. However, you are your sensation in duality. In duality, you are your sensation. So you are what you feel and think and all of this kind of thing. But then you realize in non-duality, none of that. It doesn't matter. And but you can see how in duality, in this moment of experience, it seems as if you can exceed experience, right? So you can exceed what it means to be you in space and time. You can exceed what it means to feel as an individual. And it almost seems like duality is there to be ascended in that way. And then you get into non-duality, and as soon as you feel like you let go of your identity and who you are, which is terrifying.
Yes.
It's
Oh
really
God.
terrifying.
So
but
excruciating. Oh my
but as soon as yeah,
God.
I mean, I was allowed in some respects with a little bit of help, and then but to actually feel you're leaving
Slipping
that
away,
being
just like
that
the
being dissipated is like it's horrifying.
yeah.
It's you're like you know, you're
What
literally
is
giving a little perspective.
happening? Where am
You're
I? Who am
allowed
I?
to see so much, and then
Oh,
and then you go back into what it means to be you, and then all of that dissipates, and you're like, ah, wait a minute, what about all of this stuff?
no,
You
wait,
know,
what's happening? Oh
yeah,
my
what's
God.
going on?
No,
And
I'm gonna go to the psych ward. Oh shit.
that in itself,
Yeah.
and that in itself feels as if um it's like you want to go back, and you're like, well, wait a minute, so,
Wait, there's
but
nothing
it's
to go
not in
back
your,
to. Shit.
yeah, but yeah, you cannot go back, and
No.
that's the thing. You're like,
Oh my God.
but then you come back to a kind of an approximation of such, and you're
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, but here I am again, but I'm not really me again, and it's like,
Yeah.
so, but I am me, but I'm not me. And it's like, well, wait a minute. And then you go again.
Oh
And it's
shit,
like,
it's not two. It's not
yeah,
separate. You know, I
two is
and
not
all
two.
that stuff. Yes.
Two is not two.
This back and
Separation
forth.
is
Oh,
not
me,
separate.
no me. Yeah.
And that
Yes.
and that enlightenment story that people say doesn't happen. Okay. It
Oh,
doesn't happen. It's
okay.
freaking hilarious to me because
Well, it's like
this is
everything
not
else that
happening.
appears. It happens and it doesn't happen at the same
Yeah.
Right.
time. So
This
who
is not
cares?
happening.
It did and
Yeah.
it didn't. I'm
Right.
picking this cup and I'm not. Who cares? Something's moving a cup, like, or I could say I am. It doesn't matter, this whole pickiness. But I love that. I love what you just said because it's all so familiar. It's like, oh
Yeah.
my
Well,
God.
the reality is that it doesn't. The this isn't happening.
Right.
This is not happening.
Yeah.
Okay. So to say that, well, that doesn't happen is to say that this
Yeah.
is happening.
Right.
It's like, oh, Santa Claus is,
You
the
can't
Santa
be
Claus story is
saying this
dead.
and that. We're not deciding what happens and what doesn't happen. What would the point be in that?
Okay, wait
You
a
know
minute.
what I
Something
mean?
just popped up because what it seemed to have happened is a memory. And so what if you didn't retain that memory? Did it happen?
Well, of course, and that's the thing. It doesn't. It doesn't, because here's the thing: every every possible rendition of you is infinite. You're already there infinitely, and you are choosing to go through this one particular linear chain of events as one infinity after another, appearing as an infinite amount of finites, as one moment after another. So it's like, imagine a box of bread,
Yeah.
and you're like a finger going through the loaf of bread,
Yeah.
and it's a
I've done
big loaf
that.
of bread. Yeah. And so you go through the loaf of bread, you decide whether you're going up or down, or whatever, and all these different little
Yeah.
spaces,
Yeah.
and all of that.
But
Now,
why are you
now
deciding
imagine
what you're
that the
deciding?
loaf of bread is infinite and it doesn't have
Okay.
any crust, and your point is not actual. It's just the appearance of a point going through this linear chain of events through the different slices and the grains and but all of that is already there, and you are kind of just passing through it, and
Yeah.
it is like that forever. um and that's just one way of seeing it, you just
Sure.
don't
It's yeah.
Yeah.
Because
it's
why are you deciding what you're deciding? Why would
yeah,
you decide to go up instead of down? I mean, who knows? Who cares? What does it matter? And that's a relaxation in this apparent life,
Yeah.
that there
Yeah.
used to be a, damn, I got to get it right. There's a way to be. And
Right.
that was the driving force of,
Mhm.
I want to know the ultimate way to be. I want to know the ultimate, who knows why that was like the
Yeah.
driving force, what seemed to be a driving force to figure out, the absolute way and the truth behind things. And the fact, I mean, just that as it is right now, there's none of that. Ooh, I got to get it right. Because even if those thoughts appear, that's,
Mhm.
it's almost like, whatever,
Mhm.
maybe, I don't know, and then just, I mean, there's no knowing of why I do what I do. And there isn't a need to know why I do what I do unless there is. And if there is, I mean, I could go searching
Well,
for why I do what I do, but how would I figure it out? I mean, it's almost so pointless. It's like,
well, that
wow,
brings me
what
to
was
my
going
second
on
point.
all those years? Okay, go
Well, that
ahead.
brings me
Yes.
to my second point.
Good.
Of that brings me to my second point of what meaning, reason, and purpose could, what could possibly, you know, why, you know, and you go from, at least me in this moment, you go from, being alone essentially,
Mhm.
and like not wanting, to mess people up, or
Yeah.
not wanting to, because I don't have truth. I'm not trying to say
Yeah.
there is no
Mhm.
finish line, so there's no purpose in like listening to me, insofar as what is the ultimate truth. There is none, as far as I know, and that's the only one I know. But even that,
Yeah.
I want to be able to say that I have seen something that is beyond true or false, and that it appears that way to me, but it's only mine. That's just my story. And
Yeah.
the thing is that it's beyond true or false to me. However, that's as close as I'm going to get to an ultimate reality, or however the Hindus want to call that, or Buddhists want to say it's nothing, or whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
The reality
Nothing is.
is that the second point being that my buddy called me up and basically had this epiphany to call me and to tell me, "Oh my God, I saw, I saw it." I think it's like, no way. I think I see what you're saying, and it's just such a beautiful moment to me,
Yeah.
because it doesn't happen often, but when it does, it's just like it's so
Yeah.
beautiful and amazing, because um, I don't see nullification there. I don't see somebody being upset. I don't see like, oh, everything just fell away and now I'm smelling dog shit. You know,
I
I
hope to
mean,
God not. That is terrible.
I mean, it's just like, yo, man. And for as long as I read, for me, my purpose, as hokey as it may seem, literally has gone from like not wanting to, you know, not wanting to be responsible for screwing somebody's life up, you know, and to now, like right now, just having this great time, just this
Yeah.
great, uh, I think it's been I think like 2 years, 3 years, um, but to share that moment is is something that I don't know if it's meaning or reason or purpose, but
Who
it's at the
cares? It's
same, yeah, who
beautiful.
cares? At
It's
the same time,
beautiful,
it's
I
like
think.
for me, it's like it exceeds that, because um it just exceeds it, because it's not for a reason. It's not
Yes,
something that
yes.
what I
That's
mean. I
so
don't want.
free and
It's not something that
beautiful
I'm
that
doing for a
because I
purpose.
need to.
Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Yep.
Oh my God. And that is the best. Isn't that the best? Like when you were a kid and you just get on your bike and you just go riding and you don't have a reason, a meaning, a purpose. You
No, you
don't
just
care.
go,
You're
man.
just out there to have fun. That's how
Yeah.
I feel like life always has
Yeah.
been. It just wasn't seen that way. Do you know what I mean? It was
Oh,
always
Yeah.
already like
love
that,
that.
but it just
Yeah.
wasn't seen that way because it's only seen how it's seen. Now it's seen that way. Maybe
Yeah.
it won't be forever. Who knows, you know, in this timelessness. But I just feel like it's so like completely free. Like before, if something happened, you know, maybe it would be like, oh, this sucks. This is so stupid. I could still say that, but with so much lightness because
Right. It
it's
doesn't have to,
crazy that it even
it can
happened.
be whatever it wants to be. You
Yeah,
can
it can
be,
be
you know, I
whatever.
mean, it
There's
literally, you
no
can be
choice
like,
in how it's going to affect or what
Mhm.
it's going to do. You know what I mean? It's
yeah,
just like,
yeah,
bam, it's so
right,
spontaneous, like what
right,
it is, you know? And
right.
there's no, this is the thing about negating something. If a feeling comes up that I hate this, when there was a spiritual seeking going on, it'd be like, oh, I better not. And then that's fine too, whatever. It's just what seems to happen. But now it's just like, yeah, I hate it. Okay. Who
Yeah.
cares? Move on. And it's just gone so quick because
And
there's
that's the,
nothing
and
holding on,
right. And that's the,
you
the
know?
difference between, um, picking up something from a school, say, a genre
Yeah.
of thought, and saying,
Yeah.
okay, beautiful. Um, I understand this. And then, you know, leaving what you want behind and moving forward,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know, paradoxically speaking. So you don't have to be in this, for me, like adhering myself to a school of thought that makes me feel as if I am constricted. But
Yes.
it's not a particular lesson that is constricting. It is the lesson itself that constricts. And I'm like,
Yes.
you know, the thing is that it's not just that though. And it's not, you know, you can be constricting, sure, but it is not the negation of freedom from that constriction. And so,
Right.
you know, to talk to people that haven't seen, perhaps, you know, like like you were saying, you know, like guys, from what I saw, yeah, I don't care if I ever, you know, see anything again. You know, it literally, I could die at that moment and not give a shit. I
Yeah.
was like, I don't care. You know, I mean, this is beautiful. Everything is
Yeah.
a bonus from that moment, and it is like it doesn't, you know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And you know, and so, you know, the funniest thing is, but here I am, and you know, that's maybe not a thing to you know, it's not relevant or irrelevant. It's not, you know, relative or you know, or out of relativity.
Yeah.
It's not space and time or it's negation or none of that stuff. And the thing about it is it's enough to go, you know, even that propels you. And to say that it doesn't exist is
Is
essentially
meaningless.
just using separation yet again.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
And what that is you're using separation to, but in that case, truly inhibit any kind of imaginings when that to me is repulsive. Um,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
not in that if somebody actually believes it, but if somebody is
Right.
teaching it
Right.
because it is it's I don't know, like people want, and I you just you have to be honest. A lot of people, you know, want, you know, they want you to tell them what it is. You want them to very simply tell them what it is, and you know, there's a lot of people out there
Yeah.
that'll take advantage of that situation.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And you know what? It's okay. Listen, it's innocence. That's fine. It is
Yeah,
empty as
you're
well
right.
in
You're right.
innocence.
Right.
But in this appearance, it's shitty, you know,
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
promise something that you don't even do they believe it in
Yeah.
themselves? I don't know. I would not know. How could I ever know?
How can you
Is
know?
a guru, does a guru
Yeah.
think actually I am enlightened and I know special stuff? You know, even though there is no specialness, that's where it's like, well, who knows what I have no way to know what they're thinking, but in just how it's coming up here, that looks like a crappy thing to do to try to sell something to
Hmm.
someone that can't be given. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Right.
There's nothing to give.
Well,
There's
the
no one to
very
give it
basic,
to.
and to say that to say that there's nothing special is okay. Now, ordinary has
No,
nothing
to,
to
but
do.
listen, specialness appears. I mean,
yeah,
we can't deny that. Who could deny
yeah.
that?
It's
There
to
isn't
say that,
anything special, but there is things appear special, you know.
right?
My
No,
dog
it's
appears more
like
special
saying,
than others.
right. It's like saying that there's nothing separate, and yes, there is nothing separate, but things appear separate. The
Separate, yeah.
differentiation between, um, subject and object, or Howard and Layer, whatever. The reality is that though we are not separate, we appear that way. Separation is not separate. For the beauty of being, like in non-duality, for example, there are no secrets, in one
Yeah,
respect of,
right,
who would have a secret, right?
right,
However, in regards to duality, um, you can't be understood. So
right.
for
Never.
the appearance to simply appear without specialness would mean that, wow, wait a minute. So there's not even nothing appearing, and whatever I think I am is just that appearance of nothing. However, it's not special, even though there's nothing making it ordinary. I mean, there could be no ordinary without special. There could be no special
Right.
without ordinary. There can be no duality without non-duality.
Right.
There can be no
Yes.
self without no self. No
Yes.
self without self.
So,
And making it neither self or no self or something else, or their
yeah.
negations, or everything, yeah, or nothing at all, and then back and forth again. And so the entire thing, um, becomes, untenable as a position, and you find yourself, thinking in terms of, what does it all mean again, and then your friends tears again, and,
Yeah.
yeah, that I have to say that, it's got to be one of the most interesting things that I've come across. Um, why? Like why,
Hmm.
how, when, where?
Yeah. Right.
Um,
Yes.
all of
Because
those
that
questions,
appears, but there isn't, it's not answerable. But it
and
still, yet it
and within,
appears, yet those questions appear. Like,
right? Yeah,
for
go ahead,
what?
please.
For nothing. It's just those meaningless questions. Why? Why are
Yeah,
we here? Well, we don't even know what we are, and there isn't any way to verify another appearance other than just the way it appears.
yeah,
So the question of why is just kind of like a question of why, and then then all these, thoughts of what is, why it is the way it is, and all that just flow, and just you're like, damn, you just sit back and there's thought after thought after thought of why and how, and but at the end of the day, what is it? What is it? It's just passing time in this timelessness, thoughts.
yeah,
What else are you gonna do? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
it's all equally the same. Go write a book, ride a bike, talk about this, talk about football. We don't know why we like this. We didn't put our likes and our dislikes. No, who did that? That just comes up naturally, and then those likes and dislikes seem to propel the character. That's a
mhm,
story too, just a way to explain it. I mean, it doesn't even need to be explained, but
yeah,
if you want to explain it, go for it.
yeah.
That's, it's that free flowing where it's like you couldn't do anything against what this is. You couldn't, you don't, it's already, and then talking about it is just that you couldn't negate anything. Nothing needs to be accepted or not accepted. If it is, if it's
Right.
appearing, then it is a thought, a feeling, an emotion. There's no knowing what any of these things are anyway. And why do we need to know? That inherent need to know is just a longing to know something that is unknowable. And
However,
I
at
mean,
the
that's
same,
kind of cool.
and very, very much so, because, those questions don't, actually exist in an absolute.
Yeah.
The question itself. There are, and that's the beautiful thing, that there are no questions or answers
Yes.
in the strictest
Yes.
the strictest respect. There are no questions or answers. However, questions and answers propel, a
Hmm.
mosaic
Yeah.
of uh, of
Activities. I
the
don't know. Of all.
exceeding, yeah, the exceeding of limitation, in that
Yeah.
the whole idea that there's a limit um is limitless, because um limit and limitlessness are just um understandings regarding something that could be contained in the first place. And so you have this funny thing where there are no questions or answers, but at the same time there's no negating or curtailing your curiosity, because
Right. Because if that curiosity's there, why do
yeah,
you need to negate it? It's
yeah.
there,
And
explore
so
it, maybe.
yeah, and so be roller skate or skateboard or get into quantum physics, or do whatever you like to do, play music. I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
just
gonna
be
happen.
happy. And or and then the whole thing being, I hate to say that, be happy, but at the same
Yeah.
time I don't, because
Why not?
um yeah, in the
Be
end,
happy. That's cool.
people
That's nice.
people have given me shit about giving
Oh,
people hope,
geez.
and I'm like, well, hopelessness is just I mean,
It's
basically,
bleak.
hopelessness is an appearance of an individual saying that there is nothing, and so there's no hope for the individual. And what I'm saying is that anything appearing is hopeful, regardless of how you choose to view what appears to be your physical body, or what is beyond metaphysical or physical,
Right.
so far as non-duality. So, um, just as something appears, uh, uh, some people will say, "Well, it doesn't matter if it doesn't exceed my identity. My dualistic identity is all I really give a shit about. Yeah, that's all I care." And yeah,
Yeah.
but you haven't seen past it. You know,
Right.
um, you have no indication
No.
of what is not uh, having anything directly to do with your sensation. And that is
Yes.
paradoxical.
No. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
impossible to discuss
It's
that.
impossible to
But
discuss
to
that.
say that it doesn't exist um, would again be to say that Santa Claus doesn't exist. People say, well, Santa Claus story died. And so the Santa Claus story died. So there is no enlightenment. There is no Santa Claus. Well, how about this? To say that Santa Claus does not exist is to say that you do in some capacity, and to say that you are somehow more real than Santa Claus, which you are not. And so the reality
Right.
is that
Yes.
you're no
Yes.
different from Rudolph the Red-Nosed
Right.
Reindeer, and you're the most enlightened Santa Claus there is. And so and so, or you're the only Santa Claus, and then again you're not Santa Claus, and you're all that. And the reality is that um the appearance of enlightenment, or the enlightenment experience, or the experience beyond experience, however you want to say it, um so it so far surpasses that of the traditional understanding of experience, that
Mm,
it essentially has permeated what appears to be all of time and space in regards to the human condition and consciousness. Okay. So being self-aware is to be aware of something else. And
yep.
so, and what happens is, um, so in that respect, um, I lost it, but in
Oh
that
God.
respect of
Yes, I know.
in that respect
Oh,
of yeah, it's just a fucking beautiful thing.
oh,
But in
oh,
that,
it is.
I'm sorry.
It just go. Oh, it is beautiful when it just goes. It's like,
Oh,
oh God,
it just
it's just
totally
like
split.
it
Yeah,
doesn't even
but
matter. It's just like so cool, though. Yes, I love what you're saying. It's great.
so the reality of it is that you I guess yeah, I just totally lost my place. I have no
That's
idea.
okay. Well, let's go back to this because the hopeless and the hope thing. Okay,
uh,
so ultimately, hope and hopelessness. Who cares? It's a word, whatever. But let's say I had a job interview, and
yeah,
this thought of, I hope I get it. Well, what the hell's wrong with that? I mean, I'm not making myself
no,
hope that, or you could say, or I could, you know, have a different differing thought
yeah,
of, oh, it's
Well,
just not going to happen. There's pessimists, there's optimists, but
okay,
you know,
what
it
I'm
is
referring to,
yes.
what I'm
Okay.
referring to is
Is this
the
something else?
dualistic understanding of hope being,
Okay.
you know, like I might get that job. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now that's
Sure.
beautiful. Then there's, you know, the
Yeah.
individual
What?
might get that job. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
What I'm talking about is the hope for the individual. They're saying, people are saying that, well, I don't care what happens beyond, you know, what it means to be an individual. So
Well, that's
what?
weird.
Right.
Sorry.
No. I mean, people say, what are you talking about?
I know what you mean. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. If you know, if I don't, God, I
But
keep.
how could they make themselves not hope though? If hope arises, if there's a hopeful feeling,
Right.
whatever the hell that is, how
Okay.
why would you have to push
Well,
that down?
what they're saying is that because there
Or
is
that
no
doesn't arise for
individual,
them.
there is no hope. Okay. So there's no hope for the individual. And the thing about that is so the death of self, um, so the death of self is pre- uh, uh, predicated on
But there isn't even a
what
self anyway. There never was there? I mean, was there an actual self that needed to get rid of? That's what I get confused about when people are saying, yeah, I get there's not a me, but there's not a no me either. Like, why are we even bringing the, you know what I mean? So it's almost
yes,
like, is there a thought of like, if the feeling of hope arises, oh shit, that's the me. I better not think about that. Who, I mean, what is this kind of game going on there? I don't get all
right,
that. Like, if
right,
there's a feeling of hope, there's a feeling of hope. Is it going anywhere? Is it going to lead to something? Who the heck knows? I
right,
mean, you know, that's
right.
unknowable. We'll see.
Well, and that's the thing, you know, as long as anything appears, okay, there's hope. And it might not be for the individual in that Howard,
Right.
you know, is in one respect going, you know, appears to be living, um, you know, was born, is going to be living, and will die. So for this aspect of Howard, this very um, dualistic sense of just me going through this very short period of time in space, um, yeah, it's going to suck because it's finite, and that
Right.
my personality will die. You know, this aspect of my linear chain of events, my story will end, and that feels, you know, it's like, damn, you know, I don't want that. I don't want it to be that way. But
Yeah.
you know, in the other respect, you are in every moment of your life infinitely. You are every aspect of Howard, and I'm every aspect of you.
Right. But like
And
getting the job or not, it's not for me because there isn't a separate me. It's all coming together. The position being opened, me applying, you know, all the different other factors, the other applicants. There's not a separate me in there that, oh, and there's not a separate hope. And then these other people that are hoping I'm more special and I'm going to get it. It's all just coming together. I mean, do you know what I mean? There's no way to
well,
separate and parse any of
well,
it
of course,
out.
what do you mean? See that's not what I'm talking about.
Well, yeah.
Hopelessness in regards to non-duality and
Okay.
speakers that say you're giving people hope. What
Oh,
I'm
well, I
saying
don't.
is,
Yeah, I get what you mean. Okay, we're talking about something different.
yeah.
Okay.
So
We're
what I'm
talking about
trying to
these
say is,
speakers who do the hopeless thing. Yeah.
speakers that do the hopeless, they
Okay.
are essentially, yeah,
Debbie Downers.
yeah. Well, they're also. I got to. I'm trying to focus.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm starting to lose my focus a little bit. Do you guys mind if we cut this off?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
you know what? I think that we could do a part two.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm starting to kind of fade, and
Yes.
yeah, I'm having difficulty focusing, and
I know.
yeah, I can go about an hour
That
to an hour and
happens
a half.
too. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes, we were saying an
yeah.
hour and a half tops, and
Yeah,
then we
we're
yeah,
an
get
hour and a half
kaput.
in. It's
yeah.
We're
perfect.
like,
I can
oh,
go about an hour and a half, and then I start losing
yeah.
it. But yeah, if we could do another one, I would.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
beautiful.
love you
It was
guys, man.
it was so fun to chat with you about this stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like we were saying, we're chirping birds here. We're having
Yeah.
fun. That's
Yeah.
just hearing other, ways of expressing this is beautiful to us. That's why we do it. And
Yeah,
we both look
I'm
at your
actually
stuff on
very
Facebook
fond of
and
that.
love it. Yes,
I'm
me
very
too.
fond of that.
Yeah.
I am a bird
Let's hear.
chirping in a tree. That's all I am.
Yes, I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's all
And
I
it's
am.
beautiful music to my ears. I love it.
I love
It
it.
is.
It's amazing. And
Yeah, this
Yeah.
is such a love fest. Like literally your expression is so
Yeah.
beautiful, Howard. We
I
appreciate
love
I'll
you.
tell you what, I could imagine something better before Christmas. And
I
honestly,
know.
you guys,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I because I got these things. What I need to do is learn how to be able to shut everything off when I'm on the link itself, because I got two different things while I was talking to you guys that just
Oh,
totally took me off
see?
of where I
Yeah.
was. You know, I was
Oh,
like, oh
That,
my god.
yeah.
yeah. When that,
Oh
And,
my
when you see
and,
God.
something, you're
I
like,
just,
oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm so sorry. I just became just,
No,
you
Don't
know,
it's
be. And
perfect.
it's
It's
totally
honestly
happening like
perfect.
that.
yeah,
It is. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
perfect.
So it is the
Yeah.
way it is. And, but I got to learn how to shut all that down before the
Oh,
next
God.
week.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Good,
Yeah.
good luck with
Okay,
that,
now
right?
listen. Yeah, right. Exactly. We'll see. Good luck with that one. I always, who knows? Okay, Howard, people can find you on Facebook. And then you have a YouTube channel? Yes.
Well, I don't have my YouTube channel, for some
Oh,
reason, but I'll get that
okay.
going again. Well, I do have
Yeah.
a YouTube channel, I think, Howard Chance, but I haven't put anything on it. Anyways,
Yeah.
there's yeah, two groups. There's my page, Howard Chance, and then there's Nothing by Chance, group, which is public, and then there's I don't know, not really group, which is private. And I just invite anybody to post and say whatever they want to say. There nobody will, it has been years since I have like uh 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 taken a post down. Like you can say
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
you want. As long as
Right.
you are
I
kind
love that. Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
people in the group.
Yes.
It
Yeah.
doesn't
That's
matter.
Yep.
great.
You can say whatever
That's
you want.
great. That's
Oh,
awesome. Yeah.
Howard, love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
literally
you.
been
Yeah.
since like with I don't know, not really group. That was
Yeah.
the initial thing, was you could say whatever you want. And
Yeah.
people like challenged that big time.
Yeah.
It was like, oh
Oh,
my
yeah.
God. Yeah, I mean, people were like, it was anarchy in a huge
Yeah.
way. Even people that just
Oh,
like knew that I
wow.
didn't like certain things, and
Yes.
they'd say it just to piss me off, and I was like, ah.
Oh,
And,
Oh, yeah.
but it's still, there's only been like maybe a dozen posts that I've taken down, and that was because I
They were
found them to
really
be, yeah,
very
hurtful.
offensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hurtful.
So you can say, and then with the other one, with the public group that I just started like a year ago, maybe 6 months ago,
Mhm.
which is Nothing by Chance. That I've never taken a post down that I'm aware of. I've never. So you can say whatever you want. Just be kind to the other members, and carte blanche. That's all
Yeah,
I
you
got.
guys. It's a great group, you guys. I can just tell you,
Ah,
I go on there. It's awesome.
yeah.
Howard's got some great posts, and it's
Great
really a
material,
lovely,
great
lovely space
posts.
there.
I
Yes,
Yes,
love you
yes.
guys.
We
yes.
love you so
We
much. I
love
love
you,
you,
Howard.
Howard.
Thank
Merry
you
I
so
Christmas.
can't
much.
even believe this. Like, I'm actually on this thing talking with you. I remember like watching you on videos. It's so cool to like be sitting here talking to you like about this. It's fun. You just can't
I
make
love
this
it so
stuff
much.
up. Yeah, I
I
know
can't believe you invited me. I'm just so happy. And anytime at your
Oh
convenience,
God.
let me know, and I'm here.
Yeah.
All
Let's do
right.
it.
Yeah, we'll do a part 2.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yes. Merry
Howard.
Christmas,
You guys,
Howard.
Merry
Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Happy
We'll
New
chat
Year.
Mwah.
soon.
Happy New
Okay.
Year.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.